could that mean? It would be one thing if they were angry with him, if they badgered him about his numbers, but this silent treatment was just too much. On Monday, the day before, the prospect of being rejected one more time had been more than he could handle. He had gone to his first appointment, parked the car 6 blocks away, and walked to the liquor store's side door. He even put his hand on the knob, but he couldn't turn it. He circled the block a couple of times, sweating, his heart pounding in his chest. But when he went back to the door, once again he found he couldn't open it and walk inside. So he left. He drove up to Pacific Heights and sat for 6 straight hours in his parked car, staring out at Alcatraz, feeling like he was in his own personal prison. Every 2 or 3 minutes, he dialed the number to his voicemail, punched in his password, and waited to hear... What? The condemning voice of his customer demanding to know why he hadn't shown up? The strained yet contained voice of the area manager calling him into the office for a little chat? Instead, he heard nothing. The computerized female voice on the other end of the line told him the one thing he dreaded most of all. You have no new voicemail messages. Between calls to his voicemail, his phone never rang, and his pager never went off. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was going on out there and that he didn't have a clue what it was. And that's when he noticed that every few heartbeats there was a little flutter in his chest, a missed beat. How long could this go on? He knew in his head that he could do this job, or at least he could do the job if he could get rid of this constant feeling that, that he would be fired? Would be made to look like a fool? Wouldn't be able to pay his rent? He really didn't even know which bothered him more. The salesman had snapped out of his rumination when he felt a sharp twinge and tasted blood in his mouth. It had taken him a moment to realize that, while he had been obsessing about the day before, he had been biting his nails and had finally chewed his thumbnail down to the quick. He checked his watch to see that it was already 7:45. Damn it, there would already be a huge backup at the toll plaza on the bridge. Now he tore around the house, gathering up his things. He picked up his briefcase, car keys, and a half-eaten piece of toast and turned toward the front door. Before he could put his hand on the doorknob, his girlfriend rushed from the bedroom and called out to him. "Turn on the news," she stammered. "There's been a massive terrorist attack in New York." Finding the way out by finding the way in. Sometimes things go terribly, horribly wrong. Sometimes this happens in ways we aren't prepared for, and sometimes it happens in ways we could never have taken seriously or even imagined. We don't think you need a history lesson about the capacity the world has for falling short of our expectations, but we could easily give you one. In the poem that opens this chapter, Robert Burns puts a fine point on the matter. Despite all the planning and hedging we do against the possibility of misfortune, where we expect joy, we often find only fear and pain. And what's the consequence of this? Do we accept with calm and equanimity the possibility that things might go terribly, horribly wrong and set about living our lives? For many of us, the answer is no. We worry, we panic, we fear. Like fortune tellers, we peer into the future and pore over the past, looking for something, anything, that might be an antidote to the unknown. Sometimes this tendency to worry and fear gets untethered from any particular outcome that threatens us. We begin to worry about worry and fear itself. We panic, and then panic that we might once again experience panic. In other words, we get anxious, and for some of us, anxiety becomes quite literally our purpose. We surrender everything to these feelings. They take over our lives entirely. In a very real sense, we don't have anxiety, it has us. This audiobook is about anxiety and the role it plays in your life. More importantly, it's about finding a way for you to break free from the constraints that anxiety has placed on you. This audiobook proposes to help you find a way out of your struggle with anxiety. But this doesn't mean we're going to help you get rid of anxiety. Instead of trying to get away from these feelings, we're going to ask you to climb inside them.